Taylor and I and Joanna was at this event too, went to an event a couple weeks ago, and one of the presenters there talked about something I was aware of, but I hadn't put much thought into. And that is how people are using AI as their search tool now instead of Google. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. The thought hadn't even occurred to me that I needed to optimize my business so that I show up in AI searches. So when people are searching for a specific type of real estate agent in a certain area, that I'm the agent that pulls up. And the cool thing about this is that not many agents have started doing this yet. So if you're looking to break into a niche area, like one of my goals is to sell more luxury listings. I want to be more consistently listing homes in a certain luxury range and kind of be the go-to person in that area. And so what this guy's name is Phil Stringer. If you want to follow him on Instagram, Phil Stringer. He's really techie, and I like what he shares, but I feel like I'm an agent who's a little bit more techie than the average agent, and a lot of it was like a little bit overwhelming. And so I tried to really like narrow this down, bring this information down because I think it's so good, it's so relevant, and it's so helpful. And I do believe that like really optimizing yourself to show up in AI searches is one of the lowest cost, easiest ways right now to find new clients specific to your niche. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate spending money on leads. Like I like spending money on my existing clientele, and I feel like I get a higher return on my investment that way. So client events, gifts, like little things to make them feel like I'm spoiling them. I've always felt like I get a higher return on my investment spending money that way over buying leads. And this doesn't cost, like this doesn't really cost anything. This is all free. You may already be paying for a website, but then there's ways that you can utilize your website to generate clients that are just very specifically targeted within your niche. And I didn't know any of this existed or was possible. So I was pretty excited about this. And I like literally as he finished talking, I was like, I'm sharing this on the next agent swap meet. This is gold. So we're going to kind of talk about 3 essential steps that you need to take. And then toward the end, I'll have like 3 specific areas that you can start doing this. But the first one is to make sure that whatever your website is, it's mobile friendly and it loads quickly and it really is easy for your clients to navigate. And I have Mike helping me build this out right now, because how many of you have like a GoDaddy, a personalized website or something where it's like you have your own name, you're not just using like your CRM page. Okay, so I own erinmailer.com, and for the longest time, I have just had it forwarded to my realtor.com profile because my companies have used Real Satisfied to collect reviews from my clients for a very long time. And I realized that all of those reviews from every company I've ever been with show up on realtor.com. So I have 90 plus reviews on realtor.com that are all really positive reviews. And it's like the best third-party website that showcases me. And I just haven't had time to focus on my own website or build it out. And so that's where my erinmailer.com has been pointed. And I'll get back to that in a second, because there's a way that you can optimize your Zillow, your realtor.com, all your realtor, all the platforms that exist where you can create your own agent profile. There's something specific that you can do in those profiles so that you show up consistently and target that niche in AI. Okay, so making sure that you have a website that's really user-friendly, I would say really low cost. Don't spend a lot of money on a website. And I'm not even going to get into that. If you have questions, you can reach out to Mike Hancock. He really is an expert on all of this and such a good resource in this group. He knows all things. So sorry for throwing that on you, Mike. He's also a busy real estate agent. But I love it because he gets exactly what we need in this industry. And I didn't talk to him before. That's not like a plug for him. It's just the truth. He's who I'm using to help build all this stuff out for me. And it's been awesome. The next thing is to create content. And this is something that I've never done before. And I didn't even realize that like blogs were still a thing. But whatever website you use should have a place where you can post articles and blogs. And the only point of doing that, it's not so that your clients are going to go read that information. The point of doing that is because when AI or Google searches for information about you, it's content and information online. So 5 years ago, never in a million years would I have incorporated this into my business, because I would have had to go and I would have had to write every article, and I don't have time for that. Right? None of us have time to start writing articles about real estate on the side. But now we can actually use AI, we can use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you use to create the article. And in like 15 minutes, if we have a schedule mapped out where we know we need 15 to 30 minutes to post an article every Tuesday at 10 a.m., you can go add articles. And it's just that system of slowly building up your content. And the AI platforms are going to write everything for you. They're going to memorize everything that you've put in there. So if you go into how many people first are using ChatGPT or Claude or some kind of AI already in their business? Okay. So you know that when you put information in, it stores that and saves it. So I've been using ChatGPT for a couple years now. And when I go in now, it knows everything that we've discussed for those 2 years. So I can go in and I can say, hey, can you write an article that I'm going to post on my blog that mentions this, 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 and this? Because remember, we're building out articles to target AI searches. So make it so that an AI, when people are searching through ChatGPT or Claude, this information is going to make me relevant and pop up in my niche. You can just tell ChatGPT as you're writing it, this is the topic. It needs to support me being found on AI searches. Write the article, and then you paste it into your platform. And it really is that simple. So when I say 15 minutes, you really can do this in 15 minutes. And I'll show you some examples of this as we get going, but you're going to create content, and you really do need to have a system for consistency. So for me, like the only way that I will ever execute on this is to say, okay, like Tuesday mornings from 9 to 12, that's my build out day. I'm never going to be the person who Monday at 10 for 20 minutes, I do this. And then Tuesday, for 30 minutes, I do this. I have to have like one block per week where I'm in my AI building mode. And that's about all I can fit into my schedule and execute. And in all honesty, from 9 to 12 is going to turn into 9:30 to 11, because other stuff will filter in. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Do you guys relate to what I'm saying, where it's really hard to fit the time in to get this stuff done in our business? The other option is you can hire someone, but you just have to be so careful about who you hire, because I have hired a social media kind of AI person before, and they charge a lot of money. And it's really hard to manage people and make sure that for the money you're paying, they're doing what you want them to do. So finding the right people is a huge deal. And if I come across someone, or if you guys know of someone who can execute on this stuff, that's priced really well, that kind of hits the nail on the head, share that information so that we can all, I would love to pay someone a very reasonable amount to do this stuff for me, but I need it to be done correctly. And so how many of you can relate to that? You would love to hire someone, but you need things to be done correctly, so you end up doing it yourself. I have a feeling I'm in a room full of people who relate to that right now, right?
We're a bunch of micromanagers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because why are you going to pay someone to do it so you can tell them that they did it wrong, and you have to be really nice so you don't sound like you're being a brat, you know? Sometimes it's just easier for us to figure out these little simple things and do it ourselves, but none of us want to. None of us want to. So,
Well, and
okay,
the challenge is always, what's the best use of our time, right?
absolutely.
I just want to interject something too. Like when you hire it out, it's really hard to have them keep your authentic voice and like know your market the way that you do, or your niche the way that you do. And with AI, one of the things they look for in searches is your niche. So like not being super generic and things like that. So I think when you hire it out, it can be hard. I do budget it into my time every day, but something to think about. I don't know if you guys know Gary Vee. He's like one of the top marketers, but he did a speech for Keller Williams not too long ago. Like they had their family reunion, and a lot of realtors got really, really offended because he swore a lot during his talk. But they missed kind of the message that he had to
Well, I
say,
do, I
which
swear.
is that AI, social media, all of that is free. And right now it is the fastest growing way to start to build an audience and get out to people quicker. And he thinks in about 7 years you're going to have to pay to even post. So trying to utilize something that's free right now makes sense. And so his point is like, can you afford not to make time for it? So just a little devil's advocate there a little bit.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought that up, Shauna, because he told people like you don't have a choice anymore. You have to be utilizing AI and social media. And then Brian
Stay around.
Buffini came out and made a statement and said that's absolutely not true. It's the human to human connection that matters, and the relationships with your clients are what are going to sustain your business. And then Jared James piped in, and there's just been a lot of conversation about this thing that happened with
Yeah.
Gary Vee at Keller Williams.
Yeah.
A lot of, if you guys follow Jared James on Instagram, he's a real estate guy.
Yeah.
So if you go find this post that he made this week, he shows like the Gary Vee and then the Brian Buffini, and then he asks agents, what do you think? And if you just read through the comments on that Instagram post, it's really interesting what like information is coming back. And it did seem like the consensus overall, or the majority consensus, was yes, the relationships matter. But how are you going to make new relationships if people don't see you and can't find you? People are
Yeah.
looking online. And I think especially if you're in Utah, and Lisa, I'm not sure about your market, but we have like an influx of people moving in. And I am starting to like have people call me that found me on Zillow or found me on realtor.com. And so they're doing their research online a little bit more, especially like millennials and younger. They are looking online and doing their research. I feel like more than my generation and above me has. They're like people before used to ask for a referral from a friend. Like I got a lot of referrals for friends, but I am starting to see that, oh, wow, I'm not even optimized the way I should be at all. And I'm still getting some people calling me that I'm like, how'd you find me? And they found me online because so many people are moving in. That's where they're looking. So I think it is important, but I also think that we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We just want to start doing it little by little consistently, and it will build
Absolutely.
up and add.
It's
Over
got to be
time.
that 100%. It's got to be a mix of both. Like
It does.
you can't just focus on one
Yeah.
and drop the other one because, like I mean, you're
Yeah.
hearing each point of view, and one point of view is 100% this way, the other point of view is 100% that way, and if you blend the two, that's like the happy medium. I've got my son who's helping me build out more of the AI into my workflow, into creating those chat bots, into creating those efficiencies. Like I've got it at the very basic level, kind of like what Aaron, you and I, and we've talked about. But that next level, like it just takes more time than what I have to learn it. And so I'm paying my son to build that stuff out through Claude and through a couple other different systems to maximize. And like you said, Aaron, to get my name out there, to
Yeah.
be quicker at responding. And so that's like my next step is utilizing him who's focusing on it and has the time to focus on it.
So smart. I love it. Okay, so well, there's a couple. I left one off of here that I want to mention, but I have a couple more comments. I'll hold those for a second. So really figuring out what your niche is the big thing. I think if you're going to spend time doing this, you want to figure out like what do I want that I don't have right now? And for me, that is the luxury market in a specific area. I want people who are looking for a luxury agent to, when they search using AI tools, for my name to pop up with all this information telling them why I'm the best person that they can hire to sell their luxury home or to buy a luxury home. And so I did not know this, but right now AI is pulling a ton of their information from Reddit and then also YouTube. Those are two really strong, like really, what's the right word that I'm looking for? But that AI pulls a lot of stuff. So an AI results, when you ask it to reference where it's pulling information, it's pulling up Reddit articles and it's pulling up YouTube articles. And I don't have much content on YouTube and I don't ever do anything on Reddit. So one of the suggestions that Phil gave was to search what you think your clients would search if they were looking for a real estate agent on Reddit. And if there's posts that pop up, to go in and leave comments. Like if you're like, who is the best luxury agent in Highland, Utah? And then there's Reddit posts about that, to go into those posts and write, Erin Mailer because da 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 da, and all the keywords and features that you would want AI to pull out. Like she's exceptional at $3 million plus, you know, and this is her experience. She helped sell this home and whatever. So it's not necessarily like, who cares what the people in that thread think? This is purely so that AI, when it's searching, will pick up that information. And the more consistently your name and your niche and your keywords pop up, that stacks up data to show AI, you know, like Joanna Williams is mentioned 28 times in this specific city, in this specific niche. And then it's going to pull you up in those searches so that they're going, okay, well, this Joanna Williams, like she's got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to reach out to her and talk to her. YouTube takes more time, we know. But what I was going to say is, and please chime in if you know this better than I do, please. Right now, Facebook is actually still a really great place to interact with people and build relationships. Instagram, when you're posting, and Shauna, I know you know some of this, but when you're posting reels and like the slide post, the carousels or whatever, that does one thing. And then when you're posting in your stories are where people get to know you authentically. And your posts and your reels are kind of more like a presence, but your stories are where people are going to feel like, even if they've never met you, they're going to feel like they know you, and they're going to be able to call you and feel very comfortable engaging and interacting with you. And then YouTube is a place, so like your stories, your reels, all your content has to kind of match the algorithm and be trending or whatever, but YouTube is where people go to learn. So YouTube is where you can go create a video where you're explaining something specific. And the great thing is that once you create a video on YouTube, it lives there for forever. And people will go and search for years and years and years. I have a video from when my daughter was 12 years old and we got her a horse for Christmas a long, long time ago. And that video it still gets hits. It's still an email will pop into my comments and it emails me that I have a new comment on that post from, gosh, that was like 10 years ago now. And people still find that video and comment on her getting a horse for Christmas. And so it lives online for forever. And any content that you create is going to work for you for a really long time. Who wants to chime in on this?
Well, I just want to say really quickly too, if for those that are feeling overwhelmed by like, oh my gosh, that's so much, how do I add it in? Think about it this way too. Like each platform wants different lengths of time, but say you do a YouTube video and it's long form, you can take that same video and cut it down and edit it down into smaller reels and things like that. So one day of creating content or one video can be used for multiple different things.
Absolutely.
Well, Aaron, I was going to go back and mention about posting on other people's comments on Reddit or Instagram and stuff. We all at night at 9 o'clock or whatever, we're laying in bed or sitting on the couch and we're just scrolling. You can literally copy and paste something like, Sean, if you wanted to be known as the agent in Cottonwood Heights or Midvale, right? If you wanted to hit a certain price point or a certain area or a certain first-time home buyer, whatever, you can literally go into a ton of other agents, like Aaron was saying, or other content that specifies that city or that kind of buyer, and just copy and paste and just do the same comments. So Claude and ChatGPT is picking up, oh, Sean's the best agent in Midvale. Sean's the best agent in Midvale. Like it keeps saying that, and you can hit a certain target, and literally you're just on your couch at night scrolling anyways. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know if YouTube does or not, but I would say Facebook and Instagram also now have location. So when you are posting something, you can choose to put it in a location because a lot of people search for that now. So always put a location, and it doesn't have to be the same location for each post. I sometimes put Riverton, sometimes I'll put Murray, sometimes I'll put Sandy. Just my area is kind of Salt Lake County, so I just pick different places throughout the county to put it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I guess the other thing that you're all kind of saying is like, you have to stay niche. You have to pick an area that you want to be the expert in as you start optimizing, and keep it very niche, because you want specific people looking for your specific, I'm going to use the word passion, the thing that you really would love everyday doing, if you could do it every day and make your
Yeah.
job like the most dream that you could, that's what you want to focus on, the thing that lights you up and that you want to spend most of your time doing. And don't go beyond that, because if you get too broad, you're not going to be singled out as the person in that area. So really get specific with your niche. This Google Search Console thing I'll come back to at the end, but I did not know about this. But you can go to, if you just go into Google and search like Google Search Console, it will bring up a place where you can put in your website and you can start to understand how your website is performing. You register it and like make sure you understand where people are coming from. You can start to like really dial in who's finding me, who's looking at my site, and where can I improve and enhance my visibility online. And again, this may be something that you have, David, your son, help you with, or something of that nature. But I just didn't know it existed, and I played around with it a little bit, and it was interesting to me. So, okay,
Wait, can I jump in real quick on that too? Because who watched Erin's reel yesterday that she made, or her story? Basically, just saying like the buyers and sellers. I thought you worded it perfectly, so I just reposted it instead of trying to do my own. Buyers and sellers are not Googling anymore. Hey, who should I have come sell my house? They're literally going on ChatGPT and finding what agent matches our criteria, right? So I think that ties in perfectly. If you, all of your content, all of your blogs, all of your everything is geared towards who you want your client to be, and it's worded that way, then when that client is asking, hey, who's the best agent in Lehigh, I'm going to come up as second best. So that's perfect. But
does anyone else use ChatGPT or Claude or something to do your searches now instead of Google? Has anyone else started just skipping?
Tiny bit, not much.
Yeah.
So the reason that people are doing this and the reason that I started doing this is because Google is frustrating now. When you go to Google, it's like all these paid advertisements, and then they own YouTube. So then there's all the YouTube videos that come up. And sometimes you're searching through, you only get what's on the first page. When you use AI, and I would challenge you to try this, when you use like ChatGPT to search, it's a very specific, like sometimes it's a very dialed in, narrowed down. It's the specific information that you are looking for. You're not having to scroll through and click and backtrack and click. It's fast. It's really, really, really fast. And whether it's right or wrong, the information that it's giving you, people are trusting. So who's that Sirhan guy? What's his name? Sirhan in New York?
Ryan Serhant.
He did a post last week. Go find this on Instagram, where he was like, I think it was a $50 million commercial deal that they were under contract, and it blew up because of AI. Because the seller put in AI, should I be selling this property at this address for $50 million? And AI responded and said, here's some comparables in the area, and no, $50 million is too low. This property is worth more, and here's why. And then the buyer at the same time put it into AI and said, hey, should I be paying $50 million for this property? And his AI pulled up and said, here's some comparables. No, you're overpaying for this property. Yep. So 2 different searches gave 2 different answers, and it blew up the deal. And Ryan's point, and he'll say it better than I did in his video, is that AI doesn't know all of the like parameters and the circumstances and the details and the history and the background. It doesn't know all of those details. And 50 million was the right price for this property. And both people lost out on something that would have been really good for both of them because of that search. And so AI doesn't always have the right answer, but what is happening right now is that people think that it's definitive and that it's giving you the right answer, including me. When I ask for information, it's definitive. I ask it about everything now. Looking for car information on cars, and I'm asking it to compare this to this, and then I can go back to the search later and say, well, what about this? How does this stack up next to this? And whatever information it's giving me, I'm trusting. And so, okay, I don't want to tangent too much, but this is just
AI is programmed so that we like using it. It's programmed natively to be agreeable.
It tells you what you want to hear.
Yes.
It tells you what you want. It takes your side, no matter what side you're on, and it'll, it's basically Yeah, it's just it's going to look for evidence to support whatever your position is. And so it's generative, it's not predictive. And so
Yeah,
it's important to know.
I have a client that works for the state. She's on the state. Oh my gosh, my brain is going. DA's office. And we were discussing this because I was saying how I'd heard like you have to be really careful with AI and verify, like trust but verify, because there's been a couple of court cases now where attorneys will have used AI to look up for cases for precedent. And there's one that went all the way through the court system. They went through AI to do their research. And when they got in front of the judge, the case that they were referencing to set precedent for their argument actually never existed.
Oh,
It was
wow.
something that was made up in AI. And so I was asking my client about that, and she said that's happened multiple times, even here in Utah. And not only did that case get thrown out, but then when they retried it, they had done it again and it was still wrong information. So you just have to be really, really careful. Obviously, a lot of it is accurate, but you want to verify everything that you're using or that it's telling you.
And this is great, right? For us in what we're talking about today, because we can position ourselves to be the best
expert.
agent in the niche area that we want to. And it's at the early stages of AI still. So
Yeah.
all we need to do is we need to show up in a response on someone's phone, and that's all we need to do in order to I think people are making decisions based on that information and then meeting us to verify that information is correct. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Hey guys, I gotta go. Thank you. I hope there's a
Thank you.
recording of this so I can finish. I have to
Yeah.
be to an appointment.
I'll post it. Yeah.
Good luck with your appointment.
Thank you. See ya.
And that was something else I was going to mention. So learning all of this, I used to procrastinate in posting and sharing because it's not polished. I'm not professionally made up, I'm constantly in a state of like running from the next place to the next. I just started posting. I stopped caring and I started posting. So like these agent swap meet videos are going on school and they're going in YouTube to build presence online, right? I don't edit any of them. People have to watch our conversation in the beginning and fast forward to get to the meat of the content because I don't know that many people are actually going to go back and watch it, but it's building an online presence for me. So as I'm hosting different online meetings and Zoom calls, I'm recording them and I'm just plugging them in and posting them places consistently to build that presence. So just having some kind of system that holds you accountable, whether, or mapping out, I want to have like a buyer consultation to a listing consultation, just a general listing consultation and some different topics in real estate and getting that on YouTube and maybe just doing one a week and not making it perfect or editing all the things, but just getting the content up there with your keywords and information for searches. It's really not about having it perfect. It's just doing it and getting that information up there. And the more you do it, the better it will get. And if you like doing it, you'll keep doing it, right? So here's just a really quick rundown of areas you can start. So having some kind of a basic website, having social media that you just keep posting with some consistency. And then this is a big one. So profiles on real estate sites. One thing that Phil mentioned is that your profile should match on all of the different real estate sites, and they should be using keywords that align with that niche that you're going for. So you want the same photo, the same description, the same keywords about the city or cities, couple of cities that you specialize in, your niche, whether it's luxury or first-time home buyers or commercial or whatever it is. You want strong vocabulary in your niche that's targeted, and you want all of your profiles to say the same thing, mostly for that consistency, because the more places that AI can grab information that's similar, that stacks up and says, okay, Shauna is the expert in this area. I'm seeing 10 different places where she's posted with this information, and that's confirming that she is the expert. You need to have consistency, and I do not, because I built out these profiles years ago. Over time, they're outdated. I don't keep them up, and so it's something that I'm working on to go back and create consistency. And refreshing everything, having a Google business set up, having yourself on Google, having at least a channel and a few videos to start on Google or on YouTube. And then Yelp is another one where it finds information on Yelp. And the other thing that's interesting is that people in Utah don't really use Yelp a lot. I'm not sure about the other markets on here, but people outside of Utah use Yelp. And if you have an account on Yelp, you'll get leads just through Yelp from people coming, like I think Portland and Seattle, a lot of people use Yelp. A lot of people use Redfin there. And so when you have people moving in from other markets, they're using, these platforms that are big in other markets to find people here. And if you're on those platforms, that's one way to get, one or two people moving in. And then we talked about Reddit. Okay, so the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like a conversation, an experience, or even a story. We do know that after talking about AI and all this tech and social media stuff in real estate is a personal game. People want to work with people that they trust, like, and feel like they know. And we have the opportunity through all of these mediums to make people feel like they know us. So if you use ChatGPT or AI to build out your profiles and create kind of this branding for this before you do it, make sure that you're putting in there, I want this to feel like a conversation. I want this to feel personal. I want to connect with the people that are reading my profile so that as you're branding it all out and doing all of this work, people are getting to feel like they feel like they're getting to know you through your profiles, and they feel like you're someone that looks and sounds like they would trust and feel comfortable with, and who's an expert in their specific area that they're looking. Okay, so here's some questions for you. How will you adapt what you're doing right now to incorporate AI into? So this is just to help you, figure out if you want to do this, how to incorporate this. What is that going to look like in your schedule? When are you going to fit it in? Are you going to spend 30 minutes a week, an hour a week? How much time do you want to spend on this? And what is the ideal time for you to work on this? For me, it's like picking one day a week in the morning where it's the very first thing that I do before my day starts to get busy. And I at least get an hour or two of uninterrupted, dedicated time to this specific thing. And I protect that time. What articles could you write about your niche? Or, start to think about like, what is your niche? What do you want to focus on? Where do you really want to grow your business? And if you could just, feel that passion around working with this specific type of client. And if I'm talking specifically about mine, which is a luxury market, it's a higher paycheck. So I can work with fewer sellers and fewer buyers and earn the income that is my goal. If I can kind of pivot to where most of my business or most of my time is spent in this niche business, and then all of my other leads and SOI coming in, I can have an agent that is helping me run the rest of that business. That's kind of what my ideal passion picture looks like in real estate. For me, I'm at the point where I've been doing this 15 years. I have my kids I have juniors in high school, and I'm trying to spend as much time with them as I can. And I get very resentful when I'm showing homes at night and on the weekend when I want to be spending time with my family. And I'm the only one that can change that. I don't know if it resonates with you guys, but we're the only ones that can change our circumstance when things are not working the way we want them to work. And so we have to get very crystal clear on what do we want, and then how can we set things up so that we are in alignment with what we want? When I say what articles could you write about, you can write topics and then have ChatGPT help you build this out. You can give ChatGPT 5 examples of articles that you think would be niche, or you can say, give me a list of 20 topics that would attract clients in this specific market niche. And then one at a time, you can have it write those articles and post those. What do you want to be known for in your market? The one thing that you want to stand out for. And then there will be other business on top of that. You're not alienating other business. You're just focusing on the thing where you want to be focused. And then here's a few tips. So you can go into AI and search luxury realtor, Alpine, Utah. Who pops up? So start using AI to search your niche as if you're the client and see who pops up. And then Google that person and see where they're popping up online. Okay, so this person's showing up online in my niche. What are they doing online that I also need to be doing so that I show up in this same niche? And this is not me saying this, but this guy that we were listening to flat out said, you can write articles. So let's say it pulls up, I do this AI search and it's like, oh, Mike Hancock is the expert luxury realtor in Alpine, Utah. I can go in and I can start writing articles that are like Mike Hancock versus Aaron Mailer, why Aaron Mailer is a better agent than Mike Hancock for luxury listings in Alpine, Utah. And you can plug some of that in so that you pop up and try to position yourself in AI searches above other agents that you're competing with. That was a recommendation that he had. I don't know exactly how to go about doing that. I would be uncomfortable doing that to you, Mike. So, that wasn't
I wanted Mike. I'd do it.
Taylor would do it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a whole back and forth series.
Yeah, we should literally just start doing this and then report back every week. How's it going? What have you learned? What have you figured out? So, and then another tip that he gave is instead of asking how when you're doing these, like, how can I position myself? Tell AI what you want. So instead of like, how do I draw a stick figure? Say, draw a stick figure and tell it what you want it to do. Don't ask it how to do it. Just tell it to do what you want it to do. Does that make sense? Okay, that's the end of what I have for you guys. You tell me your thoughts and anything else that you want to add to the conversation. Mike.
Cool. So a few things with AI. One of the things, there's a lot of people out there that are like doing social media with AI where they're basically making an AI version of themselves and giving the AI their voice and whatnot. And like YouTube and whatnot is shutting all that down. Like they're actually getting like negative, I don't know, whatever their ranking and pool is, they're actually negative ranking against those. So that authenticity of being yourself and staying in the picture, kind of it's kind of that middle ground between those two debates. You want the content, but you have to be authentic because social media is really just starving for authenticity. So you've got to be the authentic you. For articles, I learned this from, do you guys know who Andy Elliott is? So I got to be in a room with Andy Elliott, and this is what he did when he was selling used cars. He went to YouTube, or he went to Google, and he just plugged in a search for what he felt like one of his used car buyers would do, and he would make 3 of that video, and then he would go down to, if you go to Google and just search anything, at the bottom it says people also searched for, and he said, and so anything Google told me people also searched for, I would make 3 videos about each of those. So if you're looking for ideas for writing or social media content, that's how Andy Elliott did it.
One thing that I really
Sweet.
like about YouTube, and I've started posting some content on YouTube, like these Zoom calls and different things. But one thing that I really like about YouTube is you can also post that to Facebook. And Facebook, I feel like I kind of have abandoned Facebook personally the last few years. And that was a mistake because I've noticed as I've gotten into social media a little bit more that I get far more interaction and far more responses on Facebook than I ever do on Instagram. And I'm a little bit more nervous posting on Instagram. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I feel more insecure posting on Instagram. I feel very comfortable posting on Facebook. I'm just not in the habit, but you can cross promote without having to re-edit and reformat anything. You can just post a YouTube video to Facebook and then share it in your stories, where I feel like on Instagram or even TikTok, you would have to reformat and do a lot more work to cross post, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Make sure same video content, but like don't put a video on YouTube and link it in Facebook. Does that make sense? And that's just a mistake people make. So like each of the platforms are trying to keep people on their platform. So if you link off of their platform, typically it's suppressed. So like if I put a YouTube video in my Facebook goes, I don't want people to leave Facebook. And so they suppress it, less people see it. So
uploading the video and
same video. Yeah. Upload the same video to both platforms natively, but don't cross them. You can with Meta because Facebook and Instagram are the same company, but
we might need to have, I know, Shauna, you've spent a lot of time on social media. Mike is a true expert on this stuff. He's invested a lot of time and money in educating himself. And so, like, again, if you're looking for someone to help you build this out, I'm just giving Mike this plug because he is doing so much for me that I'm so excited about. Is that okay, Mike, if I tell people they can reach out to you?
You can, but
he has spent a lot of money and a lot of time over the past 3 or 4 years, maybe more than that, in figuring this stuff out, and he really is an expert. So
Here's the best thing about Mike too, is as we go to these seminars and we learn about AI and Chat GPT and all, it's people that are very, very, very tech savvy and like in that world. The best thing about Mike is he's a crossbreed between he loves AI, invests a shit ton of time into it and money, but he's a realtor, he's an agent. He knows how to make it into like relevant into what I do every single day. So it's like the perfect guy to go get all the information and then be like, this is how to use it as an agent. So like
or
Mike's,
want- if you want him to build it out for you, he can.
Yeah, that's true.
Like my new website, I'm so excited about, and there's some upfront cost, but the maintaining it cost is so super reasonable. But Mike, the people that he has aligned himself with are the top experts in the world for marketing. Truly, like he has invested a lot of money and time in hanging out in rooms with people who are the best marketers and understand marketing online better than anyone else. And he continues, I think, because it's a passion of yours, like you love it, right, Mike?
And it changes so fast.
Yeah.
It just changes so fast. So even look at like a Russell Brunson, Funnel Hacking Live went away, and then now there's, they're bringing it back, and it's heavily AI focused now.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll get some of you guys on here sharing what you know, because I don't want this to become the Aaron show. So Mike, we'll have you share. Shauna, if you want to share. Obviously, Joanna, David, you've shared. We'll have you again. We want to rotate this around so that we're all able to contribute and collaborate. And then also, if you know agents that would benefit from this, please share the link, send it out to them. The website, there will be like an agent swap meet website, and I'll be able to add people to that and send just reminder emails out. So all of this is like getting built out, and it's going to get better and better. But we really we've had such awesome people showing up. So thank you for being here. We really want to keep growing this and have this be a room where we are all thriving together and staying focused and growing our business collectively. And then coming back to these conversations so that we can see, hey, how's it going? Joanna, I know you were doing these videos. Are you getting a return from it? What's happening? And be excited for each other and sharing together. So thanks for being here.